Hey, this is Mike Richards. Hope you're having yourself a very Merry Christmas and a great New Year's 2018. These are the best of shows. We're doing it until January the 2nd. Enjoy them as we've enjoyed giving them to you. And I got to tell you, probably right now, I'm at home getting hammered. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas! What makes me happy? Anything Irish makes me happy. Anything Irish. Now, this is something Dave found. This is every Irish relative we have. This is every Irish story. This is every Irish household. Apparently a bat, speaking of Batman, gets into an Irish home. The chase. Okay, you've got to watch this. Here's Ireland, truly at its most honest best.
Catch him! Catch him, Derry! Derry, catch him! There's a bat! Look at the bat! Get a bat! Look at the bat! Get a bat out of the house! Mom, will you get out? Derry, will you catch him? Oh, fuck it. Oh! 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 Jesus, new. Catch him, Derry. Catch him. Catch him, Derry.
He's got a
Bigger towel, that's it. Get him now, quick.
He's got a
Get him.
blanket. A blanket.
Oh, fuck it. God, Derry. Oh! Will you... Marie, will you stop looking in the door? Oh! Jesus. Catch him, Derry. Catch him. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Just... That's it. Oh, he nearly got him that time. Nearly. No, he's still flying around the place. Quick.
He's still chasing him.
Oh,
With like a blanket. A blanket.
you're doing a great job, Derry. Oh, that's it. Stand up there. Oh!
He's on a chair.
Did you get him? No, he's there. He's making a mockery out of you, boy. You get done off this. Take off them shot. The dog's pissing. Dad, the dog's after peeing. Oh.
The dog.
Maureen, you're no help behind the door. You're tiring him out. He's like McGregor, he's got no legs left. Go on, catch him now. There he is. Get him. Oh.
If you want to see it again, I'm sure it made no sense on this podcast. That's why you got to watch the show.
So I go and see the doctor, and he's just going to be sitting there, taking my blood and everything. Now, I've been visiting this guy all summer. Been visiting, he's the guy that I've been going in to see with these pains, this weird phantom story.
Yes.
So he's very calm and quiet. He's saying, "Oh, how's it going? How are you?" And I go, "Well, I'd be fit." And so I don't tell anyone, but he's the friggin' doctor, and he's my doctor.
Yeah, but okay.
So I say to him, well, I'd be doing a lot better if I weren't diagnosed with stage 4 cancer yesterday. And he freezes. What? What's that? And I go, yeah. Remember the whole thing coming to your office all summer long, blah, blah, blah? Well, guess what it is? And so now I don't like him. Now I don't like,
Don't like him.
Don't like him.
You see that face. It's got to be everything in your power to go, because of you, I'm not going to live.
Yeah, or why couldn't you catch this earlier? So what happened was I slid so far down, and I can remember the pain of this thing. So anyway, here's what happened. Here's the good news. I want to get to the good news because I don't know how much time I have, and I hate leaving people on the... It's hard to do this in stand-up because as soon as you say, "Oh, stage 4 cancer," they go...
Yeah, not the punchline they were looking for.
Yeah. Is this guy going to die right now?
Yeah.
Literally, not in a comedy sense, but in a figure, in a real
Well,
sense.
sure.
So I'm, because I've done both. Not at the same time, though. So here's the thing. I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm going to get this cannabis. So that's Thursday the 20th. Thursday the 20th, I'm diagnosed. Wednesday the 20th, I'm diagnosed. Thursday, I go into work. Friday, I go into work. We're taking photographs, like I'm dressed up in my New Year's Eve suit, having a glass of beer. It was so surreal to carry this TV job of frivolity. And then on the weekend, the 23rd, I contacted a person who was able to provide some leafy green. And I asked her, and I asked her, was it her or him? Oh, I can't say. Anyway, it was a person. And I asked her, I said, I need to get more of this because I have to understand this whole medical marijuana thing. Can you get me started? So she gets me started on getting some stuff. And what I did was, seems like a million years ago. I went on YouTube and I learned how to create cannabis oil because I knew I was in just such a terrible place. So I start doing the cannabis oil. I'd make it myself on the weekend. On the third day of actually taking this tiny substance, this tiny amount, because you have to gear up slowly. It's very high power concentration. Rick Simpson oil, it's called. And nobody was selling it. You had to make it yourself. You had to go on YouTube, figure out how to do it. And I start to take this. On the third day, on the fourth day of still taking my morphine and going to work, going to the Air Force, I realized I'm not in pain. Isn't that amazing?
Okay.
So I didn't take it.
Okay, so hold on. So, because there's a lot going on.
There's
here.
a lot going on.
Okay, so you're taking hydromorphone at this
I
point?
was taking hydromorphone
Okay,
and that's it.
which
to
people
nullify
have to
the pain.
understand, really powerful stuff.
It's
The
great
pills
stuff.
are tiny, and for me, and as you're saying for yourself, when it comes to pain, godsend. In
And
fact,
what I liked about it is it doesn't mess with your head. It
I-
just pushes the pain away.
That's
and
what I
it puts
felt
you back
too.
to normal town.
but then you're also at this time taking this oil,
yeah.
and this is something that you're smoking with the oil.
No, this is something that you are. It's an oil. It's a liquid, but you're swallowing it.
Oh, so you just but it's a trace amount, like it's very small.
pinhead.
It's a pinhead of oil,
Pinhead of oil.
cannabis oil,
Cannabis oil.
and then you're sitting there, you're going in for a read, you're doing.
I am advocating the use of this. Yeah. So what you do is, if you know how to make tea,
Yes.
you do the same thing, but you do it with cannabis instead of with tea. And instead of using water, you use alcohol or what's the other one they use? I don't use that other one. Naphtha.
But you notice at this point, the pain's going away.
Right. So I start taking this stuff, and I realize after the third day, like I'm getting up in the morning to go to Air Force. It's the Thursday morning. I've made it on Sunday. I took it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And now it's on Thursday morning. I'm taking my pill to get on the train to go down to work, and I realize, wait a minute, hang on. I'm not actually in pain right here. I'm going to hold off. Now, I brought it with me. Let's not kid ourselves. I carried that stuff for a year in case,
Right.
But it went away, and then I started to realize I was able to regain physical actions that I hadn't been able to do before. Okay, so now we're getting closer to the time when this expert guy is going to see me at Mount Sinai to tell me the news.
We're only talking a matter of weeks. Now I thought you were talking about this is the matter of the 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, the 4 or 5 weeks.
In this time, this is what's happened for you.
I'm pounding this oil. So what happens is you do this tiny bit of oil, and after a week, you double it to 2 pinheads. And after about a week or so, then you double that to 4. And so it goes, and you're acclimatizing. So now you're like a guy who can have 6 drinks at a bar and he's okay, versus the guy that never drinks, has 2 beers and he's on his ass.
Right, gotcha.
You're doing the same thing. So now I've slowly acclimatized to this. I go back in for my big meeting.
Yeah.
With the
This is
big pro.
another part of the meeting,
specialist.
or the movie, rather. This is the other
This
part.
is the other part of the
Yeah.
movie. This is the guy, not the Emerge doctor,
Yeah.
but this is Mr. Prostate King. And I go in to see him, and he does a reading on me. They do a fresh blood reading to see how you're doing. And now this is the reason when cancer comes up and raises its head, and I would have said the same thing to you before your surgery. I would have said, I'm not saying don't get your surgery. I don't say don't do anything to anybody. I'm saying try this along for the ride. Because what happened was, when I tested, have you ever had a PSA score for your prostate?
But that's not what. But years ago. Years ago.
Okay.
Years ago.
So your PSA needs to be no more than, say, 4 or 5, depending on the person, maybe 2, 3. If you don't have any, that's fantastic. Probably not going to happen. Mine was at 700 when I was diagnosed.
700.
700 when I was at the Emerge.
And 4 is dangerous.
4 is dangerous. 700's out of control. So now, but I am feeling a little bit better, and I am functioning through this November into December. So I go see this doctor, this expert, in between Christmas and New Year's, to see this guy, to get the news. Like, what's happening? You're the pro. You're the dude that's going to shepherd me through this mess. And he says, I don't understand this, but your PSA was 700 when you were diagnosed, and now it's at 374.
Oh my God.
Now, 374 is not something to aspire to, listeners at
Yeah,
home. This is not a
right,
great
right.
fun number, I tell you this, but it's almost half of 700. And he is so convinced that there's something wrong. There must have been a failure in the first one couldn't have been as high.
That 50% accuracy
Yeah.
that would be off.
Because his claim was basically, I understand it. It was either it's going to still be 700 or higher, because I will have, 5 weeks has gone by.
Yeah.
How did it get down here? And he can't believe it, but I know that I'm feeling better in general, sort of nominal senses. I'm able to lift my legs again. I'm able to do certain things. I'm able to, And I know this cannabis stuff is working because you take it every day. And then so he says it's only $374. Even with this, he's going by the old data of the 700 and
Sure.
everything else. He's going by everything that they had to monitor based on the MRI, the CAT scan, the whole kit and caboodle that I got taken. He says you've got 10 or 12 months left.
So you're still getting a prognosis that in a year you're dead.
In a year. So I say to the guy, so how do I get back from stage 4 to 3 to 2 to, you don't. You don't get back from stage 4 to 3 to 2. You just, I'm so sorry. Then he drops the bomb. This is the bomb. He says, you're too far gone for chemotherapy. You're too far gone for radiation, and you're too far gone for surgery. Now, I'm not really a chemotherapy fan, and if we had another show, I'd talk all about that. But it was still interesting to hear I was not eligible for it.
You don't even qualify for the
You
thing
don't even
that
qualify
okay,
for
wow.
this thing. So I'm sitting here going, well, there's literally nothing to do. And he does a tap on the back, like, hey, sorry, man. Hey, nice game. That kind of thing.
Oh my God.
And I hate this guy. And my gal at the time, she goes, oh, I hate that guy. He's so full of himself. And then I heard subsequently from some nurses that he is very, very much a bit of a god,
Right.
this fella.
Right.
But he basically gave me no options, and that's why I'm here. That's why I want to talk about this, because sometimes you're given no options, and sometimes they don't give you this other option. So I'm here to say, not to tell you not to do anything. I'm not here to tell anybody this, and I'm saying that emphatically because I've been criticized of telling people not to do things and that I'm an irresponsible
No,
practitioner.
I want
whatever.
to hear options if it's me.
The options are chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, and then there's some drugs and stuff you can take and whatever, right? So those are the options. But there's another option. And when you do the research and you understand that this oil is nothing more than you have to look at things differently. It doesn't actually cure cancer. It makes your body a place where cancer doesn't seem to be able to take hold. It makes an inhospitable climate for said disease, as opposed to curing the disease.
Okay, so
And as I sit here, 3 friggin' years beyond my anniversary of when I was supposed to be planted in the ground, I get a little cocky. I get a little bit snippy, snarpy,
so what do they say to you now? Are you still? Is there a PSA
Yeah.
score that you can talk about? Is there?
Yeah. So what they say now is, so what happened was that was as I was sliding into 2014. I was taking this guy's, it was a hormone suppressant for testosterone to prevent the testosterone from being made, because that's the fuel for the prostate cancer. So as he said, and certain things are quotes, right? He says, this is going to help you ease on out.
Ew.
I said, what
Thank
if I
you.
don't want to ease on?
Thanks for that.
This is the most difficult part of my job. That's what he said to me.
Okay, now that line I've heard. I think in MASH. I think MASH would say
I'm
that.
so sorry. You're
Yeah.
having a tough 35 seconds while I take this into my next life. So basically, here's what happened. So I was doing better and better. As I left him standing there telling me, you've got no options, I'm now increasing the amount of oil. And by spring, by what was it, Easter, I took my kids to the water park in Niagara Falls, up and down the stairs, tube slides, the whole friggin' thing. I mean, you can't even believe this is going on.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Given my,
It's a miracle.
people say that.
Yeah.
I don't really understand the term, but it could be. But I'm doing that.
Well, because you're not supposed to.
Not supposed to be doing. I'm
No.
supposed to be deteriorating to
Yes.
death, and now I'm getting better and stronger. And I get to the part where I realize I can't take this guy's drug anymore because it's giving me the side effects. Sometimes you look at a side effect of a drug, it's like, well, some of those are okay. I don't really get drowsy when I drink this thing, but I was really messed up with the side effects. I was getting very anxious, a lot of it. And then you would need another medication to calm that down,
Right.
and that causes a side effect. So you need this medication. I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. He says, well, I think you're making a huge mistake. And my PSA is continuing to plummet down to 3, 2, 1, back down to normal town, right?
You're kidding me.
Right to
So
normal.
you've gone from 700
Yeah.
to 1.
Yeah, 1.5 or so.
That's
So
fucking crazy.
I don't have anything to do with this guy. Sorry. I don't have anything to do with this guy anymore. And I just say I'm not going to take that drug. And then I continue on with my life, and everything's okay. And I just keep taking the cannabis oil. Now we're approaching the end of 14, and damn it, these weird feelings are starting to come back again. And I have a crisis of faith. In other words, I'm starting to go down a track again. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Having been there the first time, there's no wonder. There's no mystery this time. 2013 was a mystery, but now it's like, oh God. So now I'm taking the cannabis, but I'm sliding down anyway. And I don't want to go back to see this guy because, he's just going to tell me the same shit he was telling me before. And so I'm hoping for the best, but it all turns out subsequently that the cannabis that I was using didn't have a high enough levels of the CBDs, which are the essential ingredients there's THC in cannabis, there's CBDs, there's terpenes, there's all kinds of things that you're boiling the essence of it down into this tar, this paste. And when I wasn't getting the right amount, because it's illegal. Because if I buy weed from this guy or buy weed from this guy, they're two different kinds of weed. But if you buy a can of Coke from here and George Brown College and the one down at Union Station, it's all the same thing with the same list on the side, right? So when it's not regulated. So here I am taking an unregulated thing, and the cancer's coming back like a cold sore, man. Like it comes back sometimes. And this is where I get into the chemo thing, because I think with chemo, you flatten your whole immune system to zero, then hopefully only the good stuff grows back. But when the bad stuff, well, it's like poorly charging a rechargeable battery. So you don't come back up as strong, and then the chemo can come back and take you out again in different waves. So that's why people get upset when I talk about it, because I don't do it. But I wasn't given the option to do it. So when I get to this point, at the end of 14, beginning of 15, well, it's starting to happen again really badly. And I got worse. At the beginning of 2015, like just over 2 years ago, from mid-January, it was pretty bad in early Jan, but by mid-January to March, I promise you, it was over. I thought I was going to die, and I was dying, and I was just walking around my house, just going, okay, well, I gave it a good kick.
And you're not working at this point?
No. I mean, I could barely move.
So it's all...
Yeah, I mean, I was doing voiceover work here and there.
Right.
But oddly enough, while I was at my lowest point, I wasn't getting called in, which was really weird because later on I was. It was nice stuff. But I was literally deteriorating and making peace with the fact that I was going to go on out. Like that I'd had a nice little, renaissance, and I was going down for the count. So when it got so bad again, I packed 2 little bags. One to go to the hospital for a day or two, one to go for a longer time. And a friend of mine left a car in the driveway because mine was standard, and I couldn't shift anymore. I couldn't work the clutch and everything. So she left her car. But then as I'm leaving at 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up in this harsh pain again one day, and I said, okay, I got to go to the hospital, but I'm not going to go downtown. I'm going to go to Ajax or Oshawa or something, get in a different sort of game. And I go downstairs to drive. I couldn't even get my leg over the step to go down into the car. I said, oh shit, I need an ambulance. So I get on an ambulance. The guy doesn't want to take me anywhere outside of the GTA because he's not allowed.
Right.
And I say, buddy, I got stage 4 cancer and I want to go to the Ajax hospital. He goes, okay, let's go. So he was cool. It's like a card.
Yeah.
They deal you the card. You got to play the card.
Yeah.
So off we go to the hospital. They diagnose me, and it's way worse than the first time. My PSA was 1196, 1200 if you round up.
What do you think that? If danger is at 4, I'm really not thinking on the scale that it's going up to 1200. It's like the Scoville scale of hot peppers.
Yeah,
like once you get to like a couple of million, how would you know what 400 million is? Because that's really what you've done.
Yeah,
you're off the charts.
Off the charts. So I'm gonna die for sure, or so I think. But they say at this hospital, they go, oh, no, we have an oncology clinic at our other hospital, which is 10 minutes from my house, amazingly. We have an oncology clinic. We don't treat oncology here, but you've been diagnosed. So next week, here's an appointment. Go to see this other guy. So never mind the guy downtown. I go see this other guy. He's a great guy. He talks to me for 2.5 hours. He's asking me questions. Because I'm a comic and I'm describing things, he likes a lot of the descriptions.
Yeah.
He goes, can I use that when I'm talking to other patients? For example, metastases and what have you, different feelings that take place when this is going on. And then he gets me into what's called an emergency pain management weekend.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was. He goes, because you can't heal when you're in agony.
No.
So we're going to flatten you out. So for like 75, 80 hours, I'm on everything there is. I'm watching TV. The playoffs were on. It was fun as hell. And I don't feel pain, and they're bringing stuff in, and they're nice people.
That relief must have been just
great.
Incredible.
Then the biopsy, which we had to do, even though we knew it was cancer, to open the door to all the other treatments. It's like a technical glitch. So we do that. That's a lot of fun. You ever lie down on the side and curl up into a fetal position while one of your buddies fires pucks into your groin? That's kind of what it's like.
yeah.
Like you're the dryer at Sidney Crosby's house. When so I'm lying there getting that done, and then I've had some procedures. At that point, I then went from there to I also had a urine bag on my leg. I had to bypass because I wasn't able to do things and different stuff. But I got back on the cannabis. I got with this guy, and he told me this shot of radiation that I took from Sunnybrook was going to be necessary. It was all terrible in my back. He says, this is only going to last about 5 or 7 months. 9 months tops. But after that, it's going to hurt again. It's going to be terrible. And we're going to have to do this again. And then the windows of time are going to keep getting narrower as you go along. And then, it's not going to work anymore. Anyway, that was 2 years ago. So I recently just asked him, my doctor, because I go every 3 months and get blood and test it and everything. And he wanted another.
And you get this done where?
I get this done at Rouge Valley Hospital. Rouge Valley in Scarborough at Ellesmere and Meadowvale.
Okay.
And a great oncology clinic there. Everybody there has been working together for a long time. Like everybody on the floor. This helped a lot in the hospital. People working together 8, 10, 20 years. But by the time I get this thing done, and he tells me this recently. This is my most recent thing. My PSA is 1.5. And I make jokes like, he is now hitting me up for his Rogaine bill because he's pulling his friggin' hair out trying to figure out how I'm doing this thing. He won't hear that it's the cannabis that does it. But I know that's the only wild card.
It's the only thing that's
so different.
The variant in your story.
So even if it's not that, I don't know. If it's not that, I don't know what it is.
Okay, so because look, and now we're getting a little tight for time, and I don't want to end it off short. I really don't, because people don't.
Let's wrap it up.
So, people listening to your story, and there might be some, Alan, that are maybe not necessarily in the category that you were, but maybe there are. So maybe there's people listening going, so Alan, what are you telling me right now?
What am I telling you right now is that there are several doors that you are presented with to go through, and maybe you'll be going through 2 or more of those doors when you go through conventional medicine to deal with your cancer. What I'm saying is there's another door, and that door is written about in the Bible, which you may or may not believe in. But if you have to go to court for any reason, they'll ask you to put your hand on it and tell the truth. So a lot of the legal system is based on the fact that on page 1 of the Bible of Genesis, it tells you in there that God decided, of all people, to plant these things everywhere and that we're supposed to take it as food. So it's on page 1 of it's Genesis chapter 1, verses 11, 12. Explains how the herb that reproduces after itself was put on the earth, and then God said it was good. So let's hear about this possession charge, Your Honor. You're elevating yourself higher than the Creator, are you? Okay, good for you. That's nice. What club did you have to join to get this gig?
Now, so where is this available?
So where this is available is you can't go to a store. There are different laws. There's Justin Trudeau, etc., all the different things that are happening in cannabis. You need to cut through all of that, and you have to just find yourself a good quality supply of high CBD, high as possible CBD, cannabidiol, it's called, cannabis.
Can you get this at these medicinal marijuana stores?
Indica. Yes, you can. It's rather expensive there, but it's cheaper than dying. And so what you need is a pound. You need a pound ultimately to do the entire course. So let me just tell you that taking a pound of this stuff over the course of time, you've boiled the pound of pot down to 60 grams, a liquid tub about the size of the head of this
Bret Hart.
fella.
You're looking at Bret Hart, Bret the Hitman Hart head.
Right. So about the size of Brad the Hitman Hart's head on this model.
Yes.
A little bit bigger than that is a pot, like a little thing of Vaseline, basically.
So it's got a viscosity to it. It's oily
it's
or,
like
tar. It's tar.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's like tar. It's like molasses in January.
Okay.
And so you have this little tiny, and you do that, and you double it, and there's a course you can download the thing. It's a dosage chart, Rick Simpson oil dosage chart. You can download that. It's a little graph, and you take this, and as you build up your tolerance, it just normalizes your body to the point where these illnesses can't seem to take hold. That's it.
Look,
it's a well-guarded secret. The feds have finally caved on. Well, sometimes smoking can relieve anxiousness and tensions. It's deeper than that. It's bigger than that. You're cleaning your blood with it.
It is. It's not just fascinating. To say it's fascinating, that's too shallow. I think a reaction to it. I think that what you're doing, and I think what you're doing here today, is telling someone who may have no hope.
There's another option.
That
Maybe. Check it out.
Maybe. So maybe.
Right.
So why would you not take that chance?
Well,
What
one
would-
reason is because it's illegal. One reason because my doctor doesn't. My doctor doesn't think this is a. Yeah, my doctor didn't either.
Yeah.
Listen, this is why at the beginning I said it was kind of a gift to get this, because the only reason I came to this awareness was because I was literally given no other option. The end. There's nothing else to do. So once I was like, well, I'll try cannabis because I thought of it anyway before I got diagnosed. Now they're saying there's nothing you can do. I've been doing it for a month. My 700 went to a 375. I feel better, and it got better and better. I had the crisis of faith later when it wasn't working, but that's just a crummy batch, as they say. So I move on to the next one, and now I maintain it regularly. So let me just close out by saying this.
Yes.
Last summer, July, August, I start to feel these weird pains again, coming back like you would do with a cold sore. Oh, God, I'm getting this thing again. I think it's an autoimmune disease that reoccurs. You don't quite kill it. But when you muss around with these other remedies, it sort of allows it to take root. I don't think a lot of people die from cancer. I think a lot of people die from the treatments thereof.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean,
And it's hard to prove otherwise.
Yes,
I mean,
no.
Chemotherapy does not have a very happy success rate. But when I started to feel these things last year, I go, okay, I'm going to take this. I've never even completed a course, like a guy that doesn't finish his meds properly. So last year when it came on again, I said, I'm going to do the whole course. I'm going to do it all the way through, beginning to end, for 100%, 90 days. I started on September 11th, so I'd remember. I started on September 11th. And then a few days in, I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do 2 courses in a row. So on the second course, you don't need to uptick. So that's only going to take 60 days to do. I decided to do a third. So I did all of those in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And I have felt fantastic ever since. So, I mean, it's a thing that's out there. It needs to be looked at. The guy that invented this,
if it was a fluke,
THC is still working in Israel.
If it was a fluke,
Yeah.
then it works kind of once for whatever weird chemical or sociological or
I'll
what.
take it.
It works once.
Yeah.
But you have now gone through these cycles of it trying and attempting to come back.
Yeah.
And it
And
working.
kick it out.
So you can't tell me, even in a scientific realm, that if that happens, that variant, that deviation from the normal, doesn't have bona fide effect because you're talking to me in the studio
Well,
today.
lots of people can tell you that. Lots of people can tell you that, and people will tell you that.
Well, I think
it's
that's
a bit of a battle.
Well, how do you argue that you're not sitting across the table from me with a
They
1.5?
go, I've heard things like, well, you should listen to your doctor.
Okay, well,
And I go, well, I have,
yeah,
and I did, and
yeah.
he gave me no options. So that's the part. Look, you can't learn how to crack a safe unless you're sitting in front of one. Right? And that might sound like a hard gig to crack a safe. You got to spin things and tumblers are spinning. You're feeling with you. I don't want to do this. But if I'm stuck in a room and there's only a safe and they go, there's nothing else for you, you're going to sit there and fiddle with it.
You're going to try it.
So the same thing with cancer. I got to the end of the life, the end of the time here, the end of the whole friggin' thing. You're done, you're done, you're done. This guy's an expert. He says you're finished, blah, blah, blah. I go, well, I'm going to try this thing. As soon as I start to feel better, I learn more. Google, right? Learning a ton of things. The guy that coined the term THC is a Jewish doctor. He lives in Israel. He's still alive. He came up with the actual awareness and identifying the compound THC in 1964 or something. He still works with this stuff. Dr. Menachem, I should have his name. But he is still working on this stuff, and he'll tell you, oh, God, there's all kinds of medical applications for this.
It's I think, and only those that have to look into family members' eyes, and you look at yourself in those dark places at night when mortality and you not being here anymore. I think when people hear this story, at least and me sitting there, and again, our stories are so different.
Everyone's is different.
And
though.
then people say,
that's the thing.
When someone says to me now, well, I heard your story, I have cancer, my brother has cancer, my wife, whoever happens to be, and said, tell me about that cancer. Because there's no, it's not, you have cancer, too bad, or
right. No, I want to hear about it.
It's just minuscule variances with where it is,
Right.
how it is, all those different things, when it is, that changes stories. And yours, because I know we got to run here. We do have to run here.
We do. I want to throw a quick plug in there, though.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I do have a net-based show. It used to be on Sirius, whatever. It's called conspiracyqueries.com, and I've kind of taken a lot of the directional thinking of being a conspiracy theorist. Like, I didn't believe Kennedy was killed by one guy, etc. So I built a whole show out of it, but that ties into why is this stuff unavailable.
So I can tweet this out too
So
on
you
my
can
Twitter
tweet it
account.
out, yeah,
Yes.
conspiracyqueries.com.
Okay.
And also, the other thing I want to mention is that it's very important for people to understand that these are options that are available. And if a doctor says, I order you not to take that, he's not really able to order you not to take that. And people don't want to try. And I know a lot of other people that I've helped with this. This is why I'm saying this, is if you want to reach out and get me, I'm on Facebook. I don't have any filters. Anybody can say anything. I don't block. I've only blocked 2 people in my life. And you can
Was it
reach
Russell?
me.
Did you block Russell? Because Russell sometimes he.
I'm not even going to give
He
him
does-
the
he-
chance. I don't even want to know his name.
Yeah, okay.
Sitting there with a yellow shirt like it's some kind of Predators
Yeah.
whack-off fest.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but I just want people to understand that I have taken tons of time out of my life, out of my day, out of my year. I will just stop everything and go, I'll talk to you about this. I will help you with this. And I'm not any kind of practitioner or a doctor, but when people study it and they want to say, well, can you help me get this can you tell me how to, if they're open to that, I will talk to them about it. But a lot of people, first they do a ton of chemo, then they do a ton of radiation, then they do a ton of whatever, and then they're almost kind of dying, right? And then they'll go, okay, let's try the cannabis thing. And then after a while, they slip out and they go, oh, fuck, cannabis doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well.
try this first. This is the point I'm trying to make fully. Try this first. And I did do this, luckily, right? This is the divine thing. I did it luckily because as soon as I was diagnosed, right away I'm on to getting the cannabis. 5 weeks later, I get a proper, fuller diagnosis, and there's a difference.
Well,
So if they say to you-
there's a stunning difference.
So if they say to you, oh my God, you just got cancer today, this is terrible, thanks for coming in, blah, 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 you get stage 3 this, you get stage 2 that, you get stage 4 something else, there's always the follow-up plan of, we'll get in touch with you soon, expect a call from us, and we're going to start chemo. Like if you got this news today, they might say to you, okay, we're going to start next Tuesday, or we're going to start Friday next week, or whatever, and you go, oh God. In that time, get this stuff going. Check it out, because by the time you're diagnosed today with these numbers, and then a week goes by, or 2 weeks sometimes, it's even longer, and you've tried this stuff, they need to test you again before you start these rounds of medication. You're going to see plummeting numbers. You're going to feel differences. And I'm saying do it before they do anything. It doesn't need to get in the way. I'm not saying don't do the surgery, don't do the chemo. I'm saying you've got a window of time from diagnosis until whatever the hell they want to do begins. And if you start to feel great in a week or 10 days, say to the guy, just say. And people won't do this. They'll say, oh, the doctor said, go, look, I'm going to need another 2 weeks. I'm going to need another 2 weeks before we start with, oh, I think you're making a huge mistake. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. But I'm just going to, and you feel it, and then take the chemo anywhere, do whatever you want to do. I'm not recommending anything
and
other
so-
than try it first.
Yeah, if you've got questions, you just heard, and we'll tweet this out later on today on how to get a hold of Alan, because once again, it is another option.
It's an option. It's an option.
And
Who doesn't want an
in this
option?
life? Yeah, exactly. Thanks so much for coming in and sharing your story.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's one of a kind.
You're welcome, and so
yeah.
is yours, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad you're back. I
Yeah.
was on the air with someone else recently who's also going through cancer, and there's a lot of people out there.
He said it's a grateful club.
Sandra Carusi. You know her?
Okay.
Yeah, she has cancer. She's getting treatment for it, but she's on the air with a radio show, and she talks about it. We got to stop hiding it. Like I was in the closet
Well,
with
that's
this.
the thing, right?
I didn't want to
That's
tell anybody.
communication.
Oh, maybe I don't want to hire that guy to do a thing.
Okay, I'm
'cause
playing.
maybe he's going to die soon.
I'm playing the exit song. You ready? Here we go.
Thanks,
goes.
man.
What?
Nice to meet you.
Just become best friends.
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
It's time.
It is time. What a great time we had with Alan Park. Well, maybe even a great time. I think a very interesting time. We're gonna, and we want to keep in touch too. I want to make sure we keep in touch. Because this stuff is, again, it's an ongoing conversation. It is communication with those who are having a struggle in quite frankly, staying alive. So we're gonna make sure that we do that.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Alan, thanks so much for coming in, bro.
Thanks for having me in, Mike.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we'll also talk to Bernie Nichols. He's going to give us a phone call, and who knows what we're going to have aside from a Game 7, Pittsburgh, Ottawa. Thanks for joining us here today and watching on rawmikeriches.com on the dedicated YouTube channel. Make sure you download on iTunes. Have yourself a great day.
What?
Playing to keep a streak alive, and I don't think that's the right thing.
See, I mean, that is pretty blatant right there. I mean, he thought the right thing was to at least get his start. If you want to put Gino in, fine, but to not start me at all, I'm kind of shocked. I think it's a Bush League move. I really do.
Giants organization is Bush League, and nobody better to talk about that than Eli's older brother, Peyton Manning, who joins us on the program. We just heard the clip, Peyton, about younger brother Eli. Old jokes aside, it's got to be a disappointing time in the Manning household, considering how this appears to be ending as a New York Giant.
Well, Dave, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people don't know this, and I know it's a shock, and I get that Eli is obviously disappointed that he's not going to start. But, boy, how do I say this? I don't know. My face a little red. I phoned Coach Mack and said, don't play him. Well, don't even start him. I mean, he's terrible. Eli is just garbage. So if you're sorry, Eli, but I thought that Geno kid, at least give him a chance because sometimes he looks like he's actually cold. And I said, well, keep him warm. Give him a chance, because Eli's not very good. So, oops.
I did not expect to hear this. So you actually picked up the phone and called Ben McAdoo.
Well, first I called the Mara family because they had ordered a pizza from Papa John's.
Oh, very good.
So sometimes I do that in my spare time. And then I said, hey, is that fat coach around? And they said, yeah, hell he is. The guy looks like Sean Levine. And I said, yeah, that one. And I said, don't play Eli. Don't even start him. No one. And I said, by the way, no, Dada doesn't even care. So, don't. By the way, do you get any numbers from the cheerleaders? Because
I didn't, but okay. Young Russell may have because he was
I
actually taking his time.
He's got as much chance. I'll tell you what. He's got as much chance getting a phone number from one of them girls as Eli does starting this Sunday. Thanks, Dave.
Peyton Manning joining us every once in a while here on RawMikeRichards.com and talking about little brother Eli.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.